arm is numb, the Keurig's clean. Your dog is dead, it's a Ponzi screen. Ponzi screen, Ponzi screen, because it's just something to do.
Gabe, I've been here by myself for the last month and a half. I've been drywalling. I have been caulking the bathroom. I painted the old room. I got way into it, man. I've been enjoying this renovation lifestyle and empowering myself to get my security deposit back whenever I do leave this apartment.
This is now a drywall podcast. This is the second episode we've started talking about drywall.
No. It is, dude. It's so. I mean, I know you might have some relationship to this because you've done some real estate stuff, but it's like the room it wasn't like left in an utter mess. Like it wasn't destroyed, but there was like tons of little pinpricks in the wall, and there was like some weird paint that would have been thrown up somewhere. And I was just like, I gotta fix this. And man, I got some fucking, sheetrock compound. I got like some denatured alcohol, and it feels great to just brush up the molding a little bit, make it real nice, and just utterly trick your landlord.
I want to see some sped up video footage of you doing all of these activities.
Mm-hmm.
We could get you on home improvement TikTok.
Yes,
dude. I'm telling you, and you get in there, and all of a sudden, like, dude, because if you've ever put a hole in the drywall by accident, you put like, you try to hang a television that's just a wee bit too heavy, it fucking pulls out a big fucking chunk of it.
Just a big crater.
Yeah, you think I'm fucked. They're gonna take my entire deposit away from this. No. There's a million billion guys on YouTube, like you kind of said right now, who are like, I'm here to show you how to make a butterfly patch. It's going to make it completely invisible. And you're like, yes, actual rise and grind.
Yeah, I feel bad because I left my old apartment in the middle of the Pando, and I'm sure that I left it pockmarked and scarred. A million little paper cut wounds on the walls where I'd had pins and nails. And there's one place where I know I pulled a picture off the wall that I had put up with the like double-sided sticky tape. And when I pulled it off, it took a big chunk of that drywall.
Gabe was actually working with the FBI and had a lot of pins in his wall to like trace the clues, and his whole house was covered in those, trying to solve the mystery.
It was like that Charlie Day meme where he's just he's trying to connect all the dots.
Yeah, they have to have cork boards because if they don't, they're just going to destroy their walls. Oh man,
it would be funny if someone does like we're selling the FBI building, and then they just take it down, and there's just string everywhere, string and holes everywhere. I don't know.
It's just like an occasional like question mark, like did the Riddler live here? Like what's going on?
Or like
what's going on?
Or they just like have to hire every single night a new drywall guy to tape over all the new little pinpricks, and they're just like, when are they gonna learn to just get a corkboard? And every day I send the head of the FBI an email asking him to buy corkboard, please, and they never respond.
What are we gonna do with all of this old string?
Yeah,
or you give it away to a charity so that they can make old grandma sweaters with it, or does it go off to a cat breeding kennel?
Or they just break up another progressive organization, to like with FBI operatives and agents infiltrating it and leading to assassinations because they have to create new reasons to use the string.
Yeah, make work.
Yeah,
that's the whole reason that they keep undermining and destabilizing progressive organizations.
Yeah,
we had to do something with this string.
Dude, there's some banality of evil shit going on in the Pentagon right now because like they've never been like audited meaningfully, so like they spend billions of trillions of dollars on stuff like that, and I swear to God, one of the things they probably spend money on is every time they literally fuck up a wall, and they're just sort of like, no, we just got to replace this entire 20-foot wall with a mural of an eagle on it. get the drywall guy in here again. And even the drywall guy's like, you could be doing this way cheaper. And they're just like, nah, we're never getting audited. Shut up.
It's like 100 of the $700 billion in defense appropriations is just drywall guys.
Yeah, contractors. It's all just like, it's New York City contractors who moved down to the DC metro area, and they don't even have any joy for it. Like back in New York, they would be like, I fucking love scheming and shit like that. But like when they're working for these actual like national NatSec people, they're like, there's no joy in this. I can't even scam these people. They're just giving me their money.
Yeah,
it's
too easy. In my life. It's too easy. Cutting the corners used to give me some joie de vivre, but
yeah, exactly. That's perfect.
Yeah.
We're here. Gabe's back in the house. Say what's up, Gabe.
What's up, everybody? It's I'm thrilled to be here. I'm 50% vaccinated and just enjoying my life.
Nice. Did you get it because you're like you interact with kids or something like that?
Yeah, it's never been a better time to be able to tell the government that you're asthmatic and that you have an educator's license.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
I am doubly qualified to get the vaccine. I went to the Javits Center, where it was active duty military personnel were there administering the vaccines, and it felt like I was in a scene from 28 Weeks Later.
Oh yeah,
sure. You see a lot of AR-15s?
You know what? These were the kindest, gentlest, best front of the store soldiers I've ever seen.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, after Kamala and Biden, or Biden and Kamala, decided to drone strike Syria earlier this week, I was in a really, in a bad mood, grumbling about the empire, grumbling about our men and women in uniform, and then I go and our beautiful men and women in uniform decided to inoculate me. So, in a way, I think that this was a winning the hearts and minds thing.
That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of automation, Gabe. We don't have to do the dirty work anymore. Now we can just focus on the smiles.
Just focus on the smiles. I got it, and it was wonderful. It was a BIPOC troops, beautiful, a witty, fun.
Witty.
Yeah, they were. They were. Yeah, they were. The troops were, dividing
Working
us
on
up
bits.
and putting us in lines. They had bits. They're smiling behind the mask. They're all wearing the masks.
Sure.
Wow.
But I was like,
that's kind of surprising for an officer.
Yeah. Well, they weren't the police; they were the troop.
Yeah, the cops
Yeah.
just let their gonzo noses hang out over the top of their masks. They don't care if they're wearing masks.
Yeah.
But it was surreal, and it made me, it heightened the contradictions between my disdain for empire and yet my approval of U.S. troops doing things like running vaccine centers.
Yeah, like we like the idea of the government doing nice things.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
who cares? Like, I mean, and uniforms are not objectively bad, ugly things. Uniforms are just pieces of clothing. And so if it's someone in a piece of clothing that's doing a nice thing, who can object to that?
Dude, beautiful early 20-something Latinas with their hairs pulled back in tight buns, wearing uniforms.
The tightest bun.
Poking my arm with a Pfizer Moderna vax. Hell yeah.
Search terms.
Yeah, keep. Yeah, this is my new Pornhub category.
Yeah.
Did their uniforms have a little red cross to signify medic or something like that?
No, none of that.
Okay.
Actually, the porn. Okay, so one category of porn I think is funny is when they like start engaging in sex with like absolutely no actual justification for it. It was just like, help, I'm stuck in the laundry machine. The only way to get me out is to fuck me out of it. But like you could imagine the scenario kind of making sense with like the vaccine side, which is like actually there's Johnson & Johnson just came up with a new vaccine distribution, the most effective one. I've been infected with 400% coronavirus vaccine, and the only way for me to give it to you is through sex.
It's through you.
It's through you. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
It's Johnson and Johnson and Johnson.
Yeah. Well,
a family company.
yeah.
No incest porn because it's a family company.
Well, I don't know actually.
Yeah.
So anyways, welcome to Ponzi Scream, guys. We are here to talk about some really fun companies. I just want to go over why we're talking about some of this stuff. The SEC recently suspended trading for a bunch of companies based on their social media and trading activity. These are publicly traded companies, and they're on what's called the over-the-counter marketplace. Okay, so just like a prescription that is versus over-the-counter drugs, right? You can just buy them at the store. They're next to the Haribo gummies and the paper towels. Like that's where you get your Midol
and your Claritin D.
Your Claritin D. These are the things that you don't need the intermediary of the prescription, right?
I'm going to push back on that. With the Claritin D, you're going to need to take a coupon to the front, especially if it's got pseudoephedrine in it, because they don't want you smurfing these pills and making meth.
No. They don't. They don't want that. They're going to keep it behind the counter, right with the baby formula.
That's
dark, very, very dark.
Well, now all these pharmacies have locks on them to prevent people from stealing anything, like toothpaste and stuff. So there's nothing is over the counter anymore. Nothing is sacred. But anyways, the metaphor's fucked. But in the securities world, if something is over the counter, that just means it's not traded on a stock exchange. It just is. You might call over-the-counter markets the original blockchain, if you will, as in it's decentralized and no one's calling the shots.
Wait, so David, so clarify this for me. So are these places where I can buy a stock in a different way, or what are they doing?
It's just broker to broker. It's just person to person. There's no intermediary like the New York Stock Exchange, just like keeping track of this stuff, or like facilitating it in any particular way. You don't have to follow their rules.
So I can just like go into like Jerry's Stock Hub and be like, "Hello, Jerry," because it's only him. I would like to buy one stock of Ford, and he'll do it.
It's more stuff that's on OTC. From what I understand, is not going to be Ford because Ford is already on either NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange. So it's going to be like Helix Wind Company or eHouse Global or Marani Brands. Just these. Just some of these are just absolutely insane. Blue Sphere, these are all companies that we've never heard of before. And what I'm going to say, call your broker and you say, "Hey, I want some over-the-counter shit. Give me some dirty," and they'll give you some dirty, and that's going to be an OTC.
They'll give you some dirty.
Yeah. I hear you. It's kind of like going to the dog races instead of going to some other races.
The pony races.
The horse races.
It's like going to a back alley dog fight instead of going to the dog races.
Yeah,
totally.
Or a side bet. Like it's like doing your dog gambling, but like under the bleachers with a guy that you only know as like Slick Vinny. But not actually going to the counter and placing your bets.
But it's legal.
Yes,
it's like legal. These stocks are legal. They're just weird and little. It almost sounds like a version of penny stocks or something like that.
Right? Yeah. So it's they are the difference in size is not how much ownership you have, which is a penny stock is you only have like it's like worth nothing, right? But yeah, it's the size of the thing itself. So the SEC banned the trading activity of 15 of these companies, and some of them are absolutely absurd. I want to start with Bebida Beverage Company.
Bebida
Beverage Company. If you
Hey,
look
babe.
look at their website, so part of the reason why they did it is it looks like numerous targets of apparent social media attempts to artificially inflate their stock price, and so they're reviewing market and trading data to identify other securities where this might be happening, right? And they're kind of worried about the volatility of it, influence of certain social media accounts on that trading activity. Also, none of the companies have filed any information with the SEC or the over-the-counter markets where the securities are quoted for over a year. So they haven't done any of their filings. If you're a publicly traded company, whether you're publicly traded on NASDAQ or on the OTC markets, which is like kind of its own little stock exchange for these OTC products, you still have to file. You still have to say, hey, here's how we're doing. And
David, this website is absolutely. Oh my God, it's beautiful.
Are you looking at Bebida?
I'm looking at it's Bebevco.
Bebev. Okay.
Bebida.
What I want you to do, let's all do this together, everyone. Go to the bottom, and first off, the things that they're selling are coma loosened boxed water.
Yes.
And it's called Taste of Childhood, but eco-friendly. It's a box of water.
It is, yes.
And there's Unwind Shots 5. Each shot makes you feel
1 year younger.
Okay. Vitality Potencia for those who need. And then it's just a generic image of an empty water bottle.
Water bottle.
And then there's another generic image of a water bottle called Piranha Water. And it's called Water from Iceland
Iceberg. Oh my God, this guy. Oh man, he has taken the hose water and put it in those plastic bottles.
So they're based out of Elizabeth, New Jersey. And shout out to Elizabeth. But do me a favor, go to their social media tabs, okay? Click on their Twitter.
Their Twitter. Okay, let's see what we got here.
Click on their Twitter and just go on the link.
Why can't we see Joseph Buster's face?
I know, I saw that. Mr. Buster's. World Bank Water.
Yeah, that's sick.
That is also a stock image. That has to be a stock image.
Yeah.
It feels legit. It's like, I work with the WHO, and the WHO has a partnership with World Bank Water.
Yeah. So their social media account goes to the World Bank's Twitter page.
That's never good.
Well,
that's never good.
They have 88,000 followers, which I assume a lot of those are paid for bots.
But it's the World Bank's water accounts. It's
Oh yeah. Okay, I see what's happening here.
So this is Bebida Beverage. I'm going to read for the listeners what it actually they say they're supposed to do. Bebida Beverage Company creates, makes, and markets unwinding and vitality refreshments. The company's lead item is Coma Loosen Up unwinding drink and shots, as well as Unwind 5 shots. The company, moreover, makes and disperses Potencia Vitality drink, Potencia Blast Vitality shot, and Piranha water. You go to their social media account, and it is the World Bank. And
oh, dude, have you gone to their Pinterest?
No.
Dude, it's just a Pinterest group called Water, and it's just pictures of water. It's like the ocean.
Oh my God.
It's just waves and the ocean and water, and it's not theirs. It was by somebody else. It's just pictures of water.
What is this company?
I don't know.
This is insane. Okay, so actually their Facebook page is like seemingly Water to Go, which again, I think that's their people. And it's a totally different thing though. Their Water to Go thing is like a water filtration product that like you pour bad water into the thing and it like automatically makes it potable, apparently.
Yeah.
Not whatever shit. It's not Piranha water. Okay, that is not Piranha water.
No, their phone. It says find our office, and on the numbers it says 232-6742-9982, which is not a phone number. That is too many digits for a for a phone number. it's yeah.
So is the CEO of this company really a Nigerian prince? Like, what is the? I just don't understand. So is Bebida a legit company where people can buy the products?
Up until last week, they were listed on OTC markets, and you could buy their stock. And theoretically, you could buy their product. I didn't, but they have a Snapchat. And the whole thing is that why all these companies were caught is they were allegedly doing some artificial inflating of their stock price on social media.
This is just everything about this is just, it's so perfect. Like their icon on their website is like a dodecahedron. So it's like a big shape with a lot of sides. I don't know. You've been doing,
dice.
yeah, like literally, yeah, like that. And like I've been clicking on all the buttons and stuff like and stuff here, which probably isn't a good idea. I clicked buy, and it brought up a phone number. Like, you want to call them? And I was like, no.
Their Snapchat button opened up to an email.
Yeah, I saw that too. I saw that as well.
Just amazing
Beautiful
stuff. I have no idea what this company is. I have no idea why it had, like, the social media account, everything about it just comes across like a complete fraud.
So what else do we have on the docket? We've looked at Bebida.
Then we have this one called Helix Wind, which was a renewable energy company whose entire idea was basically to create wind turbines that are shaped like double helixes, or like a helix.
Okay.
Okay. It is on a company called, I couldn't find their website because it was purchased by this other company, Sour Energy. And
which sounds like a dope strain of indica.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of dope strain, Green Energy ENT is a really, like, see, so it's, where is that one? Green Energy Enterprises.
Yeah. Oh, grow your own green. Oh my God. Dude, if you go through these are amazing. They like this is spanning the kinds of bad website design from like all eras of the internet.
Yeah.
Like you have quasi Squarespace looking sites that are put together wrong. You have stuff that looks like a GeoCities site from 1998. You have everything in between. It's really like they're all so bad.
So Green Energy Enterprises is two things. They have two companies. One, marijuana, and the other one, private planes.
Yeah, I'm looking at that now.
I've seen Blow. This sounds awesome. So
Ascent Aviation is their company. And so, we found their CEO. Their CEO exists on it. Their name is Donald Vigil. She graduated from Metro State University in Denver. Great school. She went to Friends University in Wichita, Kansas.
Friends
University in Wichita. I mean,
look,
Friends. She's got private planes and weed. What else is there to say? Her social media websites are legit. The links actually go through. This website of them all is one of the more developed, I will say.
This is. I mean, I love this. It's so. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense too. Like, also, I have to say, from a technology perspective, I'm looking at all these websites, and like, there is I'm not going to get into the details of it. But basically, like, after 2017, you had to like have like an HTTPS instead of an HTTP version of your website, because it made it so it was secure or more secure. And none of these are HTTPS. It's all the old version. So if you like look in the media and look in the browser, it all just says like not secured, not secured, not secured. Like none of these websites are up to code. If we're gonna say it like a contractor, it's hilarious.
And so they're gotten for social media, and one of them, Blue Sphere. If you go to their social media account, Their Twitter page got suspended. And then if you go to eVenture, so Blue Sphere comes across like they turn waste into energy, right? So this is one of these companies that it's actually kind of a nice looking website, I must say, but it's also, again, like Danny said, not secure. It does agriculture, it does cities. It actually is very pretty. Twitter accounts suspended. Next one, eVenture. The whole thing is that they socialize your calendar, easily access your calendar,
right.
create events, and capture digital photos and videos the way you want. So you put videos on your calendar and you create events.
Dude, this. Oh my God! This website is one of those ones where as you scroll down, it interacts in a weird way. So like new things pop up. So it's sort of a experience like it's like trying to do what Apple does when they launch a new product and you go to apple.com, and as you scroll down, like animations and shit like that happen and cool looking stuff. And this one, it's just. Oh, it's not good.
There's one part of it that says, there's like a picture of like generic millennials with like Christmas lights, and it says, have a great time and enjoy. This is where you have a great time and enjoy your party.
Dawn and Megan's dinner party. This is great. I love it. Oh my God. It's really slowing down my browser. It's it's not good.
So
yeah. I'm sorry,
Twitter...
my computer can't handle these websites. Or these websites can't handle my computer. I don't know which it is, but there is.
So eVenture doesn't have it doesn't their Twitter, their Instagram, their LinkedIn, none of them exist. And they're like dead links on the website. And then they still have a Google Plus link on their website.
Nice.
And then it says, Google Plus just doesn't exist anymore as a real platform for them.
David, all of these websites sound like they should be pronounced with a vaguely Eastern European accent, just like Universal Apparel Textile Company, Media Technics Corporation. Try your byproducts.
One of them is literally called Eyes on the Go. What is that?
Patent energy, a diversified energy.
So, Eyes on the Go Inc., which I'm pretty sure doesn't mean. I don't think that's a phrase. Like like eyes on the prize, but it's eyes on the go. I don't really.
Yeah, they're all incorrectly stated nomenclature or like turns of phrases. Like I said, QuickBooks churches. Buy a house in Wisdom Homes. This is real fun.
What is the thesis of this exploration of these companies? Is that they're all frauds?
They seem meaningless, small companies that didn't take off and have been dead forever. And I think that the reason why they're being brought up now is because the SEC is very afraid of what's been going on with GameStop. And they're very concerned about social media, artificial inflation of prices of companies. And they are using this GameStop they see GameStop and they say, we need to crack down on this. And so they're using these ridiculous companies, Eyes on the Go, which doesn't have a website, but according to Wall Street Journal markets page, provides video monitoring systems primarily to the hospitality industry. Okay. Creepy.
Cool.
Cool. There's one. Oh, look at Media Technics Corp, which is just amazing. I really would encourage you to look at that one if you can. Gabe, and this is from 1998. Straight up.
Oh yeah, this one. Yeah, this one's got. Yeah, this is some excellent clip art. It's got a book sitting on what appears to be a 2008 MacBook. Some gears that are connecting with each other that are also connecting to a computer. That third picture down looks like the time tube that you go to when you're going to heaven.
Yeah.
And then three people just sort of who look vaguely like doctors or scientists,
Yeah.
sort of standing next to each
And
other.
that's the whole website. That's the whole website. It says
all in
products,
stunning.
products. Try or buy our products.
Buy your products.
Technology.
Yeah.
Technology. Learn about the innovative digital publishing system that powers our products.
Our
Affiliates.
products, yeah.
Visit our partner websites. Company info, who we are and what we do.
That's what we do.
And then there's like Universal Apparel and Textile Company, which just looks like a private prison. There's no other way to really describe it.
Is there something about anybody shutting these sites down as a positive form of internet and business hygiene? Like, these are zombies. These are zombie websites.
Basically.
Yeah. This is somebody finally taking down the Space Jam website from 1994 and being like, we need to clear up some space here.
Yeah.
We need to clear. Yeah.
Or like a dead person's Facebook account. Like, is that what we're doing here? Like, the SEC is like wiping the board with these irrelevant companies?
I think so.
Yeah. And it's like you said, David. So like right now, I would say conservatively, we're not in the first or second week of GameStop stuff or whatever. Now we're sort of in like the quiet week 4, week 5 situation of everything now. And we're in the pseudo aftermath of what happened when the GameStop stuff sort of jumped up so quickly,
Right.
And now we're getting the weird ripple effect of of like powerful players like the SEC and what have you being like, all right, let's figure this out.
So
let's change something.
So as a reminder, what happened right when GameStop kind of went down that week, right? The GameStop week. The SEC said that they were looking at the situation, right? They were looking at the situation from see whether there was fraud by Wall Street Bets, whether there was fraud by Robinhood, by Citadel, Robinhood being the brokerage firm that was executing these trades, Citadel, which was both like the customer of Robinhood who was buying the trades, and was also an affiliate, was a hedge fund that had the short position on GameStop, that had bought the short position on GameStop. So they were alleged, had an apparent conflict of interest in executing these trades. And then the last one, they said that they were looking at companies themselves to see whether companies were doing any, wrong behavior of like fraud or artificially inflating their price otherwise. And I think that this is absolutely tied to this. They could not find anything that GameStop did wrong. I don't think. Like that people, GameStop went into along with the Robinhood people, along with Roaring Kitty and Citadel, all appeared in front of Congress, and I think that GameStop just kind of no one really had anything to say to them because they haven't said any or done really anything wrong. But the SEC still wants to do something to make it look like they're cracking down,
doing a job.
They're doing a job, so they're going to crack down on eHouse Global. It's yeah.
I mean, this reminds me of like Matt Taibbi's Griftopia. I think that was the book, and when they talked about the financial crisis, how the regulating bodies went after one bank in Chinatown, instead of going after, any of the big boys.
Yeah.
So this one tiny small fish bank took all the heat.
Yeah, this definitely feels like, again, because we're in week 4 or week 5, and there was all these people, on like, bigger media platforms being like, there's some fucking screwy shit going on here. And the only response that they can actually give in terms of sort of like punishing somebody is just like sweeping up these cobwebs of like enterprises that weren't really doing anything, just sort of like, I wouldn't even say that Media Technics was grifting people so much as they were poorly putting together a Wix.com website,
Yeah.
like and they're saying like, yeah, we solved the problem. I think they're definitely just trying to be like, problem got solved.
Well, they're like,
it's taken care of.
well,
Yeah.
I think that it's kind of an implicit comparison of wisdomhomesofamerica.com, which if you go to look at it, it just looks like reading rainbow if it had a website, basically. And that level of technological advancement. And apparently they make these things called QuickBook Churches. No idea what that means. That's their product.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, comparing those to GameStop, it's effectively saying GameStop is a dead-end company. It should not be doing as well as it is. By the way, as of recording at the end of last Friday, it was trading at $101, right? So the short squeeze worked effectively. It was at $20 or even much less before this, the short squeeze began, and it is way, way above that right now. And but the SEC is kind of trying to set an example by just going after these tiny little boys. And then they even say explicitly, like, hey, we are going to keep looking at other people. This is not the end of this investigation of looking at all these ludicrously small, meaningless companies. And you know what? Some of them look like legitimate frauds. Like, I cannot put my finger on what Bebida Beverage Company is or does, but it cannot be good. Like, every single thing that it leads to is either a money laundering device, a complete scam, or like something tied to the your deepest conspiracy theory about the World Bank. And there's nothing about that is good, and it should have its stocks banned, but they're choosing to go after it now because of GameStop.
These are the lowest of low-hanging fruits. These fruits are hanging like 6 feet underground.
Yeah,
and they're making the false comparison that what happened with retail investors with GameStop and that what's happening with these weird zombie things are the same thing, where they're just not. It's just I mean, like, again, it can't be emphasized enough where it's just like maybe the individual players or some of the individual players who were like trying to invest in GameStop were more like higher up like investor types, but large swaths of it were incredibly transparent, literally, propagated over Reddit, where like obnoxious for sure, but like absolutely just sort of like, this is what we're doing, this is what it is, and this is why we think we should be doing it. You should do it too. There's risk involved, but whatever. And then they're trying to compare that to like what is clearly a money laundering scheme for at least a couple of these websites, and being like, yeah, these are the same, and we're taking care of it. And I think what you're not going to get over the next couple of weeks continually is people asking the question, or like some sort of reporter or anybody being like, hey, do you think this is the same? And they're going to be like, well, we're actually looking into corruption at large. And it's just like, no. You're saying that you are taking care of what happened a couple weeks ago, but it's not that. It's just a completely other thing. It's like when a kid doesn't want to do chores and their mom's like, do the dishes. And you're just like, but I picked up a shirt on the ground 3 hours ago. That counts. And it's like, no, it doesn't. These aren't the same things.
I mean, it's kind of like the classic centrist false equivalency of like being like a fascist who wants to make a ethno-state dictatorship, and then the left saying we want healthcare and education, and then the centrist being like, these things are the same, right? Like, you can't. I mean, I'm not saying that GameStop is like an ethical company or anything like that, and no one would, but they're just not. It's a false equivalence. And the thing is, GameStop had a rebound last week, and this was after its CFO was forced out by the board, and it went from being at $40 at some point last week to $170 after this guy was forced out. And apparently, since the GameStop phenomenon, he has people have been trying to. The board of directors has been saying we need to do something about this money that we're getting all of a sudden, and he was effectively refusing or unable to pivot to digital. That which was what everyone wanted him to do. You know how AT&T was just a shitty phone, not shitty, but like a huge phone company, but they were a phone company and they successfully pivoted to digital, right? And GameStop didn't do that, but then they got a bunch of money in the past 2 months, and now all of a sudden they want to kind of
make the move.
Make the move. But the CFO wasn't doing that, and then he got forced out, and then the price jumped. So this is then also this came out. This is from Bloomberg. It's called the title is "The Short Selling Environment Has Never Been Worse." Okay, this is last Friday. Ken Griffin of Citadel said that after the congressional hearings, the turmoil will diminish short selling for the foreseeable future. Okay, basically, since last March, the stock market is doing well, despite the fact that no one is doing well.
No one's doing okay.
Well, it's called the K-shaped growth, right? Where the top half is just growing exponentially, and the bottom half is just going way down. I mean, it's a it's a real class antagonism. But the short selling, because the stock market is rebounding on paper, short selling is doing terribly effectively. And there are all these companies that people were expecting to be shorted and get some money for these hedge funds that are not doing that for them.
So they're not making any money off of the misery.
Yeah.
The pessimists are not making money.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dude, now we're getting into the second wave situation of this, because David, you're talking about how shorts are doing poorly, which means inevitably somebody's making money in something, in the stock market. And then what you were talking about just GameStop as a company, I mean, I might be projecting a little bit here, but it's almost a little bit, I don't know if inspiring is the word, because it's imagine you're a board of directors for a company that for all intents and purposes was probably going to go bankrupt in the next 5 years or something like that. You're GameStop, you're kind of out of date and whatever. And you get this crazy influx of cash by total chance. You are not a necessarily well-designed company,
right?
And you get a fuckload of money, because that's what stocks do when your company goes public. It's a way to raise money, and you get all this money, and your CFO is just sort of no, I'm not gonna do it anymore, And you got I mean, I'm not saying all these people are good actors necessarily, but if you're a person on GameStop's board, you're we should do something with this money.
Right.
Let's do something with this. And you have somebody who's just no, I want to go bankrupt. The
price of GameStop is actually responsive to the company's activity, which I never thought was really the case. Whenever I would hear Roaring Kitty talk about or read about how he was saying that GameStop has inherent value, there is an actual thing, I thought that was bullshit. I thought that this was just something that he was saying, and he was just asserting it, but the reality is screw you, Melvin Capital, screw you, Citadel. Let's invest in this irony company, because all of us are Gen X and Gen Z uniting to overthrow, hedge funds that ruined my past and future life. It seems that this is happening. That actually the company did a huge change, and now the price is reacting accordingly. So it's kind of when you ironically Steely Dan in your late 20s, and then in your early 30s you're oh wait, I actually like Steely Dan now.
And then you buy tickets to see Steely Dan, and Steely Dan is broken up, but then they realize that a lot of people are streaming their products, and so they decide to do a comeback tour.
Yeah.
And they're actually good. And that's what GameStop has done, is just imagining, you're envisioning, damn, what would I do if somebody gave me $1 million? And then GameStop actually won the lottery, and people just flooded them with money and they're trying to do things to upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is actual chaos magic. like left. This is Aleister Crowley left hand path. Like my will upon this entity. It is my will. You know.
It could have been like Rush Hour 2 if it were a company. Like just something that just people liked when they were 10, or is just so, I don't know, obsolete to a certain generation of people. Like it could have, I don't know. It could have been Qdoba, right? For me. Not for Danny. Danny, Qdoba is still an important, vital company that has a lot of growth potential.
Oh yes, they're way better. They're way better than Chipotle.
Yeah.
I eat it there all the time.
Yeah.
No. I think it's. I don't know, man. Like I don't think I won't go as far to say that it's important, but I mean, you got to think about like what are companies today? Like, a successful company, as defined by like today's standards, is something like Amazon, where success is just like having such a large portion of the market share that like you automatically do well, and when something like GameStop does well, has like this strange meaning because it's like it's allowing like literally any other kind of competition, that's it.
It's allowing competition? What do you mean?
No, I mean, like, look, if you think it's like if you have to think about it from like a capitalist standpoint, which I don't like thinking about it from, it's like, I mean, we only think about, I only think about like things in terms of gigantic companies like
Right.
Target or Amazon or what have you. GameStop was like an out of date weird thing that didn't really exist anymore, but like to have a weird
As in it's
situation
like a normal company.
happen.
As in it's just like a normal
It's just normal.
kind of
It's just
big
normal.
company. Like it's like a widely distributed company, but it's not one of these companies that is like the platform, the streaming service, and the goods distributor and the goods provider and manufacturer. Like this is not a megalopoly, and like it's people kind of like it because it's like this company just has some stores. And it's got like 300 stores across the nation or something like that. And that is what's weird about that is our economy has become so distorted that people view that as like small, SMOL, like it's cute. Yeah, like that like when in the 90s, man, you hated those big box stores. Like GameStop was just like, support your, like, screw that, man. I'm going to go to my local video game store. I'm going to go to my local, VHS store and screw the big man GameStop. And now GameStop is viewed as this quaint little like paradise that like, it's like Vermont aesthetic all of a sudden. Like it's
Sure. I mean, that's what you saw like watching the latest season of Stranger Things was that they talked about how it was in the 80s, right? And how the Main Street was decimated by the mall and everyone's going to the mall. But now the mall has been decimated by the online shopping.
Yeah.
And so now we're hearkening back to this nostalgic time where the mall is our main street.
Right.
And it also does sort of bring into question is like what is more efficient about Amazon? Is that even sustainable? Because we all think, oh, well, I can just get everything shipped to me and it's cheaper and everything like that. But those are just like the quick, you don't see those costs. Like the longer term cost is that Amazon, because they have Prime, well, they got to ship stuff in 2 days for most people. And in order to do that, you have to like improperly pack planes and trucks and all that stuff, and it's like a drain on the environment and what have you, and somebody is getting exploited on the way along the way. Meanwhile, a company like GameStop, which again is not good necessarily,
right,
still kind of evil, like they're literally just a brick and mortar. You, instead of having something shipped to you and having that last mile delivery like exploit some weird contract worker, you just walk 7 blocks over and you buy a PS5 or
people
whatever.
don't walk to GameStop. No one walked.
I can
drive-
walk to
You
GameStop.
don't who walks to GameStop? I'm gonna go.
There's one on Knickerbocker. There's one on Knickerbocker
You may as
Avenue
well
in Bushwick.
You may as well walk to a gas station. That's not. There's no way that's gonna happen.
No, look, it's possible. It's possible. All right.
Anyways, I think that's kind of all I had on this. I just think it's such a strange little topic, I guess. One other thing on what's going on, little GameStop update. I didn't watch all this subcommittee hearing from a bit ago, but this was a really funny clip, I think, which was this California Democrat just grilled the shit out of Ken Griffin. Okay, it's literally, his name is Ken Griffin, and who is the CEO of Citadel, and he asked him all about payment for order flow, which is this big controversy in stock trading, and that's why Robinhood that's how they make their money, right? Robinhood is free,
Yeah.
but what they do is they sell the information to somebody else. They're like Facebook. They sell your stock trading information to somebody else who then executes it, right? They're basically a data company in the same way that any of these other social media companies are. And they're interviewing, Rep Sherman is interviewing the CEO of Citadel, and he's asking him about payment for order flow. And I want to include this clip. I want to play this just really quick.
You've come to expect things on the internet to be free. When you're not paying for it, it's not free. You're the product. Someone else is the customer. When you go onto Facebook and it's free, you're the product being sold to the advertiser, and your information is sold to God knows whom. So we now have a system where we're telling investors that it's free to invest to buy and sell stock. There are two ways to pay the folks involved in Wall Street for buying and selling stock. One is a commission, and you know what it is. And so we discourage investors a little bit from buying and selling stock because they have to pay a commission, and they know they're paying a commission. The other way to do it is to give them a worse execution. Whenever there's a stock being purchased and sold, the market maker, perhaps Citadel, might be willing to sell the stock for $10.05, but will buy it for only $10. The difference is 5 cents. And so the issue is whether Robinhood and other people who are being told you get it for free are really getting it for free. Mr. Griffin, you're a market maker. You pay some brokers for order flow. You don't pay others for order flow. So when you pay for order flow, you're not making as much on the transaction. You have to pay some of that back to the broker. That's hidden the amount of that is hidden from the customer. The fact that it exists has perhaps recently been disclosed. SEC rules require that people get the best execution, but I've recently learned that there's best execution and enhanced pricing. So if you get an order from Fidelity and you get an order from Robinhood, and you're paying for the Robinhood order flow, is the Robinhood customer getting as good a price as the Fidelity customer? Mr. Griffin.
So, Congressman, I believe that's an excellent question. The execution quality that we can provide as measured in terms of price improvement is heavily related or correlated to the size of the order that we receive. So if I were to speculate,
don't tell me that that there are other factors involved and take us down another road. I'm asking you a clear question. Assuming same size of order, one comes in from Robinhood, one comes in from Fidelity. Is it not true that one is going to get a enhanced best execution, and the other one is just going to get best execution?
So as I was trying to explain, because the Robinhood order comes from a community of traders who tend to trade in smaller size.
That isn't my question, sir. You're evading my question by making up other questions. Let me repeat. 2 identical orders come in. Same stock, same quantity. One's from Robinhood, one's from Fidelity. What happens?
The quality of the execution varies by the channel of the order. This is a commonly understood phenomena in economics that channels matter. So, for example, when you go get a mortgage from JP Morgan to their clientele has a different rate of interest than a mortgage.
Okay, let me reclaiming my time, sir. Who gets the better deal? Well, one that comes from a broker who is being paid for order flow, and one not. Can you testify that on balance there is no difference, assuming the same size of the order?
So, as I said earlier, size of the order is only one factor.
You are doing a great job of wasting my time. If you're going to filibuster, you should run for the Senate. Everyone else I've talked to in this industry says when you pay for order flow, you get when your broker is being paid for order flow, you get a worse execution.
Man, he's just nailing his ass to the wall. It's so funny because he keeps trying to make it confusing. And then this guy's just like, you're a bitch. We do not like you.
Yeah, it's really fun. He's just grilling him, and he's like, okay, same size. He's like, okay, yeah, but if they're different sizes, no, same size. No, but what if they're, yeah, it was fresh.
Yeah.
That was kind of the most interesting thing about the whole thing, because Citadel is in a very precarious situation because they are clearly the profiteering off of this business model that is exploiting Robinhood traders, ultimately, who are getting a worse deal to the point that it is like potentially illegal, the way, like, in that they are not doing the trades that they say they're doing for the people who are on their platform, because it's ultimately much later and it's not at the best, like the right moment of doing it, and they have these intermediaries that are totally profiteering of, like Citadel here, and also Citadel's it's Ken Griffin is such a funny guy, and that company is so funny because he's really coming across like a bit like a monster on both ends of it. I think, like, he is not only profiteering off of these retail traders' information, but it's so apparent that he benefited off of Robinhood stopping buy positions on that Thursday, and because they're also the hedge fund that was chiefly invested in the short position on GameStop.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of the whole thesis of the podcast in general is just trying. I mean, that's what he's doing right now is he's trying to obfuscate facts with over financialization.
Right.
Like he's trying to hide it by just saying jargon.
He is like Two-Face, but if Two-Faces were two different crimes.
Wait, what?
It's like Two-Face Two-Face has.
If there was
like
no nice side of his face,
there was just a different kind of bad face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, Ponzi Scream, everyone. Like, listen, and subscribe. This has been I don't know. That's all. That's all I got on it.
No, it's complicated. It's complicated, but I'm really glad we're talking about it and following up on it. It's very important to actually let people know like how this is progressing.
It's never gonna end. GameStop is here forever.
Yeah.
The invisible hand of the market tried to strangle it, and then you fucking Reddit boys brought it back, and now it's here.
Thank
you. And Robinhood's not going away, but don't use it because it's a scam, and they hate you if you're a consumer of it. Don't use products that are free, because when you do that, you are the product.
GameStop is gonna buy Apple in a month. That's the way I'm seeing it.
Yeah, that's it.
Gabe, anything you want to plug?
Hey man, Funhouse Comedy is every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. and it's always on Zoom, so you can listen from the safety of your bedroom. Watch us, and keep wearing a mask, wash your hands, get vaccinated.
I love those. I love those shows. Get vaccinated. The show is really funny.
Yeah, it's a reality TV show where you just watch people in line at clinics that are fully operated by the United States military.
Yes, just operated by your friendly neighborhood Bronx guy who joined the army.
Oh yeah, I'm into it.
Sexy.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, guys.
Yay!
That's it. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.